In just a couple of years, Francis Ngannou has gone from being a laborer at a Cameroonian sand mine to the reigning UFC heavyweight champion. With a mixed martial arts record of 16 wins, 12 of which were by knockout, he is known as one of the strongest fighters in the world. Also known for being the hardest recorded puncher in the world, he has caught the attention of UFC legends. We will be looking at what these UFC legends have to say about one of the strongest African fighters ever, Georges St-Pierre. With the chance of a potential super fight between Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones, fans have said that they feel that Jon Jones is scared to fight the new heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou. This would make sense because who will want to take on the powerful Francis Ngannou? Georges St-Pierre, former UFC 2 Division champion and one of the strongest fighters in martial arts history, recently appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and offered his thoughts about the fighters. He said, "Yes, Jon Jones is scared of Francis, and Francis is afraid of Jon Jones, because if they were not afraid, that would mean they don't care." Georges St-Pierre explained that he was afraid in a lot of his fights too, and that when an athlete craves success as much as Francis Ngannou and his opponent, fear is normal. He continued saying, "Fighting, I'm sure, is important for them. Success is important for them too. And when you put it all on the line, it's normal to be afraid. If the price is good, even though he is afraid, he will do the job regardless of how he feels. He will bite in his mouthpiece and do the job." Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier does not want to step inside the octagon with Francis Ngannou. And after watching Francis the Predator Ngannou destroy Stipe Miocic at UFC 260, Daniel Cormier is glad he didn't have to fight him earlier. In the aftermath of UFC 260, commentator John Anik told Daniel Cormier that there was a time when people seriously considered the prospect of a fight between Daniel Cormier and Francis Ngannou. In response, DC violently shook his head, indicating he was not amused by the prospect of fighting the dangerous French Cameroonian knockout artist. I mean, you can't really blame him for his reaction, especially after watching Francis Ngannou's violent destruction of Stipe Miocic at UFC 260. A post on Twitter showed that DC believes Ngannou will change the way the UFC heavyweight title is viewed in the sports world. In the past, Daniel Cormier had shown interest in a potential clash for the title against Francis Ngannou. This occurred at a time when Cormier was gunning for a trilogy fight against then-champion Stipe Miocic, but since he hadn't recovered from his injuries, Dana White claimed he was thinking of vacating the title. Daniel Cormier claimed that he wanted to fight Francis Ngannou for the vacant heavyweight title, saying, "If Stipe won't fight, then Francis Ngannou has earned a title fight. If somebody is fighting Francis Ngannou for the title, it's going to be me. All respect in the world to Francis Ngannou, but I'm not afraid of anyone. I'll fight anybody on any planet. I would love to do my trilogy with Stipe Miocic, but if Stipe won't fight, they're going to take his belt just like Henry Cejudo gave up his, and they're going to make a fight between Francis and I for the belt. It is as simple as that." However, this fight never came to realization, and maybe looking back, Daniel Cormier is thankful that it didn't. Kamaru Usman. Nigerian-American professional mixed martial artist and current welterweight champion Kamaru Usman was in Ngannou's corner for his headlining title rematch against former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic, where Ngannou attempted to become the third African-born UFC champion, along with Usman and Israel Adesanya. Kamaru Usman hoped his championship pedigree would help contribute to Francis Ngannou's success at UFC 260, and Francis managed to succeed in that fight. Kamaru Usman has taken part in numerous 5-round fights and thought his experience competing in the championship rounds could be beneficial for Ngannou. In Ngannou's first fight with Miocic in January 2018, his inexperience showed when he came out firing and got exhausted, losing the match after 25 minutes. Kamaru Usman thought if Ngannou paces himself, he'd be able to take out the champ on their second match. He said, "I think he has to be relaxed because we put so much pressure on ourselves because we understand what us being a champion does to where we're from. We understand that, and that is a ton of pressure to put on yourself, and I think he needs to relax. If he's able to relax, I mean, we're probably looking at one of the scariest men on the planet to date. So, if he's able to relax, I think he'll shock a lot of people with all his newly acquired skills." In an interview, Kamaru said, "Francis has the Guinness World Record right now for the hardest punch. From the sports science, from what they did, they said it is equivalent to a Ford Escort hitting you at 70 miles an hour. He went on to add, "That's the thing with Francis. They use the term baddest man alive like the heavyweight champion. In this case, literally, you can say that for Francis. He is the baddest man alive. I know a lot of people might try to put that up to debate. Yeah, you got boxers, Anthony Joshua, and this and that. Nah, boxers, you take them down. Francis is literally the baddest man alive walking." Khabib Nurmagomedov. Known for being the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion from April 2018 to March 2021, the Eagle Khabib Nurmagomedov is undoubtedly one of the greatest MMA fighters to have entered the octagon presence. When Ngannou won the heavyweight title, Khabib praised him and said, "Congratulations, Africa. Now you have 3 UFC champions." When asked by a reporter who he would sign for the EFC, if given the chance, he said, "I would like to sign a heavyweight fighter, some interesting heavyweight fighter. It would be interesting to sign a heavyweight, Ngannou or Cyril Gone. As for me, the best heavyweight MMA fighter is Cyril Gone for now, but more interesting for his KOs is Ngannou." When asked about the upcoming fight between Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gone, he said, "I think Cyril Gone will win. I've never met Cyril before. I used to meet and talk with Ngannou many times. My professional opinion is that Cyril Gone is better as a fighter." Randy Couture, former mixed martial artist, 6-time UFC champion, and the UFC 13 heavyweight tournament winner, Randy Couture has revealed who he believes will win in the fight between Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gone. He spoke with MMA journalist James Lynch, saying, "I think Gone has certainly got the horsepower and a puncher's chance. I think the real question is, how do you deal with this, Francis?" This Francis has got a lot of options now. He's worked very, very diligently in the last 2 years to shore up what he saw as a glaring weakness in his ability to wrestle, to grapple, to stay off the bottom, to not get smothered, to not get taken down. And we saw that in the rematch with Stipe. When asked about how Francis Ngannou would fare against Jon Jones, he gave a subtle hint while not expressly mentioning Jones's name, saying, "He's come a long, long way. He's a different fighter than the guy was." So I think he poses some more interesting problems for anybody in that division right now. Cyril Gone. French mixed martial artist and current interim UFC heavyweight champion Cyril Gone also has some thoughts concerning Francis Ngannou, considering they used to be sparring partners. Cyril Gone labeled Francis Ngannou as the most athletic and powerful person he had ever seen. He said, "Till today, I've never seen anyone as powerful, as athletic, with such knockout power. I've never seen it. In terms of strength, he might be the most impressive guy in UFC's history." Joe Rogan. American podcaster and UFC color commentator Joe Rogan also made a comment about Francis Ngannou, saying, "Francis is even more impressive, right? Because he is a natural. I mean, he's not even barely lifting weights. I mean, that guy is just a fucking gigantic athlete. He got that big from working in a sand mine. I mean, he is literally like Conan the Barbarian from Robert E. Howard novels." Joe Rogan also said, "Francis has really only been training MMA for 5 years. Yeah, so he is just fun and amazing to watch. He does not have the wrestling experience, he does not have the wrestling technique, but what he has is an incredible heart and desire. And he is very hungry to learn, and I'm very hopeful that he's going to learn, and I really hope that he incorporates a real rigorous wrestling program, because that is one thing that is lacking from his last training camp when he fought for Stipe." Based on all that has been said in this video, it is safe to say that Francis Ngannou is one hell of a fighter, and he has earned recognition from many UFC legends. Francis Ngannou is now set to face the interim heavyweight title holder Cyril Gone at UFC 270, where the two titans will clash for the undisputed heavyweight throne. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.